Welcome into Anchor Down from the Vanderbilt campus. Jimmy and Zach are back for podcast number 13 of JT and Zeek on West End. A lot is happening in Commodore Nation. Jordan Matthews got the game-winning touchdown in overtime the other day. He had 9 receptions, 133 yards, and that game-winning touchdown. Also, Jay Cutler, the quarterback for the Bears. We love to hate him, but he threw for 345 yards on 27 of 40 passing.
Also, in the basketball world, if you've watched any SportsCenter this week, you've probably seen Festus's block on Blake Griffin. That was a nasty play. Also, more basketball news. The team will open up 3 days from now against Austin Peay. Friday at 7 o'clock in Memorial Gym. Hopefully, we'll see you all there.
Absolutely. On a more somber note, we're going to go into the Florida game now. We played well, but definitely not the most fun game to watch. A few things that caught our eye. Cunningham had 2 fumble recoveries, also 10 tackles. This guy absolutely should be on the all-SEC first team. He's just been unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. Also, Azubike was back, forced a fumble, made his presence known. He's a really athletic guy along the line. We really weren't sure what we were missing those few weeks without him, but it's been proven that the defense is better with Caleb Azubike playing.
No doubt about it. The D-line looked great. Nephi looked good. Azubike looked good. Jay Woods had that forced fumble using his helmet. Also, +4 in the turnover margin. That is absolutely crazy. The one hit you could put on our defense this season is that we don't create turnovers, and that absolutely changed this week.
Oh, yeah, we're up in the top 5 in fumble recoveries in the nation now, number 1 in the SEC. Also, Ryan White got a pick. He is all over the field. He's a very aggressive player. He was able to get one to go his way. Another guy, Landon Stokes, forced the fumble.
Yep, and moving on to the offense, I know we hate to talk about them. The one good thing is the play calling was better. I mean, it's quite mundane. It's really boring to watch.
It was the best all season. I think the play calling was good.
It's sad that we have to run the ball every play to minimize the turnovers, but the fact is we minimize the turnovers. That's the goal. It worked.
Oh, you had a chance to win, definitely, with the plays that were called and the way the offense played this week.
Yeah, just one stat that I want to let sink in is 74 total passing yards in the past 2 games, only 30 against Florida. I know we didn't pass the ball too much, but I think it was 3 for 14, 30 yards. The only 3 guys with receptions in the game were Sam Dobbs, Dallas Rivers, and Ronald Monroe. I mean, those guys never get receptions. That's just weird.
Oh, yeah, most of the yards came on that one at the end where it was, 4th and 20, and then their whole defense just sat back, too. I think that was like an 18-yard reception. The other ones were on screens. So the offense nobody would say the offense played well, but they did limit turnovers, and that's what we've been preaching every week. As long as the offense doesn't turn the ball over, the defense will put us in a position to win, and that's what they did. It really came down to special teams being the problem this week. All of those long punt returns put the defense in tough situations when the offense wasn't. Also, that shanked punt at the end may have very well cost the game.
Definitely. Also, Ralph Webb with that 174-yard run. Absolutely love to see that. That's his first big play all season, which is
Except
great.
Except for maybe
but
the MTSU one was good. But
yeah,
it's an
true.
SEC team,
yeah. One thing, though, is the ref kind of got in the way of the safety on the play.
Real nice block.
Yeah,
there.
Nice block by the ref. It's possible that Webb only would have run for 8 yards on that play, which makes you question, would we have even scored in the game? Had he not gone for that, there's no way we would have.
Yeah,
that's quite sad.
If that drive didn't result in points, there's a very good chance we could have gotten shut out again. That's the way you got to play. You got to hope for a couple of big runs.
Yeah, also a few dropped passes. O-line didn't look great. It's hard for McCreary to play well if he's not getting any support. We know that he's not been a good player for us this year, but the players need to give him some support.
Yeah, it's hard to get too down on the O-line just given how many injuries they've had. Jelks went down. Crooks isn't playing anymore. School. We're playing 4th-string tackles out there. It's hard to get too mad at them. I think they're holding up well for the guys who are out there, but it's right. It's hard for Johnny.
Yeah, overall, 9-7 loss against Florida. That doesn't sound bad against the number 11 team in the country. We really do play to our opponents. Defense was unbelievable. Maybe their best game all season.
Yeah, one note on that. There's no doubt in my mind there's no player, no linebacker in the country I would rather have playing inside linebacker in the 3-4 than Zach Cunningham. He got robbed of SEC Defensive Player of the Week with them giving it to a Florida guy this week. There's no doubt he could play at the next level. He's all over the field, in the backfield, covering receivers. There's nothing this guy can't do. Maybe we should try him out at quarterback.
I like that idea, and I couldn't agree more. Cunningham is an absolute monster. Best on the team by far. Now, moving on to the Kentucky game this Saturday. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff against the 4-5 opponent. They're 2-5 in the SEC. But it's a very, very winnable game. We're actually favored by a field goal right now.
Yeah, Kentucky was 4-1 at one point this year, and they've dropped their last 4 games, the last 3 of those being by at least 24 points.
Yeah, they're on a really cold streak. And there's a lot of questions for their offense. One, who's starting at quarterback? 2 days ago, Drew Barker, for sure. All of a sudden, they're saying Patrick Towles may be back. Either way, I'm not too concerned. Neither of them are studs.
Don't think it really matters.
Drew Barker, he was a top recruit 2 years ago, but he's not quite there yet. He did go, I think, 7 for 9 against Mississippi State, but only 43 yards. It's hard to see either of those guys doing too much damage against our defense.
Yep.
Also, in terms of the running backs, Boom Williams was out last week against Georgia. That definitely contributed to the fact that they only scored 3 points. Boom Williams is the best player on their offense. He's averaging 6.6 yards per rush, 5'9", 197. Really fast, athletic, powerful running back. He's day-to-day right now. Whether he plays or not is definitely something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, stopping the run is definitely going to be the number one priority, no matter who plays at quarterback. Williams, similar to Ralph Webb the way he runs, but a little bit harder to take down. Kentucky as a team averages 21.9 points a game. We only give up 17 points a game. There's not too much of a difference there.
Yeah, also, Kentucky, they let up 29 a game. Obviously, we don't see our team scoring anywhere near that, but point is, their defense isn't anything great. It's an opportunity for our offense to maybe play a better game.
Yeah. One thing might be big this game, it could be field goals. Kentucky, although it's not ranked quite as high as us, they do have a top 20 red zone defense, which could prove difficult if we are able to get into that area of the field. Hopefully Openshaw or whoever Mason decides to take the field goals this week might be able to hit in a couple from 40. That could be the difference in the game.
Yeah, and some overall team stats. Vandy's defense right now is 19th in total defense, 12th in scoring. Also, in terms of offense, it's not as pretty. We're 112th in the country in total offense and second to last in scoring offense.
Yeah, and a lot of the guys have been saying once turnovers come, they come in bunches. Hopefully that trend continues. Kentucky has 14 fumbles lost on the season. It seems like we just keep getting more and more each game in the fumble category. Hopefully Cunningham might be able to recover another, maybe take one to the house.
Yeah, definitely. And as we've already mentioned, this is a very winnable game. We're going to outline a few reasons why. We've touched on a lot of them already. One, Kentucky only has 6 picks on the season. That's not a lot. Maybe McCreary can actually throw the ball a few times this game. Maybe a few of them are more than 5 yards downfield. I don't like the idea of him passing it too much. I liked the game plan last time. But if we can spread it out just a little bit, it might make a difference.
Yeah, take one defender out of the box. It would open things up for the running game for sure.
Let's see. Also, Kentucky's offense, not great. That makes you think we could hold them to 0 points, 3 points, 6. An amount that our offense can get enough points to win, and it might only need to be 7 points from the offense to win.
Yeah, Kentucky fans are definitely looking forward to basketball season. It has not been fun to be a Kentucky football fan after the first half of the year. Like we said, 4 losses in a row. Last 3 were blowouts. This could be a game where Mason picks up his second SEC win.
Yep, and then Zach already mentioned this, 4 consecutive losses. Kentucky is the coldest team in the SEC right now, I think. Maybe Mizzou. But both of them, they're just terrible teams. Hit them while they're down. We're at home. This is our best opportunity to get that 4th win.
So we keep saying it's very winnable. If you had to make a score prediction for this, I guess we'll get right into the battle. This is our first game. This is the game we care about this week. Vandy at Kentucky. We'll be out there in the student section. Hopefully all of you will be at the stadium too. Who you got? What's the score?
I'm taking Vandy, and I'm taking us by the field goal that the spread has us winning by, 10-7 Vandy.
I'm going to go out on a limb, I guess, and say we score 20 points.
20 points. That would be a record aside from Austin Peay.
I'm going to say 20-3. 20-3 Vandy.
I love that. My one question has to do with the fact that the offense has been regressing lately. recently, Mizzou 10 points is like the best game we've played.
Yeah, I'm basing
good.
that on like Mizzou has a very good defense. Kentucky's defense isn't anything to laugh at, but it is not in the same category as Mizzou's defense. I hope we'll be able to run the ball. Ralph Webb looking to have a huge day. I think he'll be our player of the game. Defense is going to play great again. Hopefully less special team woes. Their team's got to be working on that this week. I think Vandy's going to make a statement this game and get us excited for the last 2 games of the year.
And quick question, over/under for 12 tackles for Zach Cunningham.
12's a very good number. He had, what did he have, 10 last week?
Yeah, I think he averages right around 12 a game.
I think whatever you set that number at, I gotta say over. This guy just keeps getting better and better. He's already our best player, already probably the best linebacker in the league. I'll say over. Gets 14 tackles.
Say 28 tackles.
28 tackles, 4 sacks. I'll say he has at least
like
a couple
that.
sacks. Tackle. All right. So we've talked about Vandy, Kentucky. There's some other big games going on in the league and elsewhere. Our next game we want to talk about is Georgia at Auburn. Auburn beat Texas A&M by a decent margin last week. Georgia blew out Kentucky. Who you got in this one?
Taking Auburn. The SEC West is just a completely different conference from the East. It's just so much more intense. I'm taking Auburn at home.
Auburn's only 1.5-point favorites, so almost thinking it's a toss-up game, but I agree. Auburn definitely on the up. I got to go with them over Georgia. The East is a lot weaker than the West.
Yep. Next we have Bama favored by 8 points at Mississippi State. Who do you have in that one, Zach?
Biggest matchup in the SEC, besides ours, of course, this week. Got to go with Bama. They're the best team in the conference, even though LSU was undefeated up till last week. Bama just showed that they were the better team. Got to go with Bama.
I have Bama comfortably covering the spread in that one. Yeah, Bama.
Okay, and a game that a lot of our fans and a lot of other fans across the country are going to be watching, Memphis against the team that blew us out in Houston.
Houston is the best team we faced all season.
Agreed.
I have no doubts in saying that, really. They have been shafted by the college football
they're
playoff
24?
rankings. 24.
That's
Ooh, they
ridiculous.
moved up from 25 to 24. Like, big deal.
Yeah.
They are undefeated. They are legit. I'm taking Houston in that.
Yeah, Memphis, people were saying that they might be able to squeeze into the playoff if things went their way before they lost last week because they have that win over Ole Miss. Houston has that win over us, and if they beat Memphis this week, it's beating a team that beat Ole Miss. I hope that they skyrocket. Houston's definitely the best team we've played all year. I got Houston as well.
Yeah, and Memphis is definitely a good team beating Ole Miss 34-13. Paxton Lynch at quarterback, but we're both taking Houston in that. And the last game is Oklahoma at Baylor. Baylor's favored by 2.5. They have been shafted with the rest of the Big 12 in the college football playoff rankings.
It seems like shafted is the word of the day. It's
Yep.
just being used with the Big 12. I agree. Forget Oklahoma State was at, 8 after beating TCU? But getting back to the game.
No love for the Big 12.
I don't know, Baylor hasn't played anybody all year. That frightens me. Freshman quarterback, although he's played well, that frightens me. But I got to go with Baylor. They passed the eye test so far.
I feel the same way as you do. I'm taking Baylor. I'm a bit hesitant in that. It's going to be a close one. Oklahoma's legit, but Baylor at home.
So this is the first week that we've actually agreed on all 5 games.
It's probably the first time we've agreed on more than half of them.
Might be the first time that we've agreed on anything, but it'll still be interesting to check next week. We're very excited for this Kentucky Vandy game. Even more excited for Austin Peay.
Yep.
Playing Vandy in basketball on Friday. Get that started as well. Thank you for listening. Is there anything else that you'd like to say?
No, it's a great weekend for Commodore Nation.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, and anchor down.
Anchor down.